We are at the hospital because we are dealing with okay. We were dealing with bladder cancer. And he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys.
The internet is spinning out of control right now because Chris Brown is straight up losing it after the bombshell news that Karrueche TR and Deion Sanders secretly tied the knot. And if that wasn't enough, word on the street is she might actually be pregnant with twins. This isn't some quiet family tea. This is the type of headline that's got everybody locked in, staring at their phones like, no way this just happened. Chris has been salty ever since the world found out Karrueche and Deion were a thing, throwing shade every single chance he got. But now, things just hit a whole new level. With marriage already confirmed and pregnancy rumors running wild, his frustration has exploded into a full-on public meltdown. The timing couldn't be worse either. It's messy, loud, and everybody's watching. And the way Chris is firing off subliminal shots online at Karrueche and Deion has fans convinced this feud isn't just some petty back and forth anymore. It's about to get real ugly, real fast. The posts, the side eyes, the cryptic lines, people are dissecting every single move he makes like it's a live show. This drama is heating up to the point where the only question left is, who's truly taking up her time? Who's really living in her mind rent-free? Because from the looks of it, Chris can't seem to let go. And now the whole world's tuned in to watch the chaos unfold. One thing about Chris Brown, he will always find a way to squeeze some shade into his schedule, no matter how booked and busy he claims to be. And this time, his target is none other than his ex, Karrueche. The tension between them has been simmering for years since their messy breakup. But Chris just reminded everyone that he never really moved on. Just days ago, whispers started flying that Karrueche had secretly tied the knot with her man, Deion Sanders. Yeah, you heard that right. Deion Sanders, the living legend himself. The talk spread like wildfire online, with fans convinced the two didn't just keep their romance private. They may have actually gone all the way with a low-key wedding nobody saw coming. Things got even juicier when sharp-eyed fans spotted what looked like a shiny wedding ring glistening on Karrueche's finger in recent photos. And let's be real, the internet doesn't miss anything. That one little detail had timelines exploding, with everybody convinced the rumors are the real deal. Screenshots, zoom-ins, and endless debates. It's all over the feeds. But while the public is busy playing detective and connecting dots with receipts, there's one man who clearly isn't handling this breaking news well. And that's Mr. Chris Breezy himself. Instead of staying unbothered, Chris is making it obvious that this revelation cut deep, and fans are watching closely as his every reaction spills across social media. Chris is already spiraling over this whole situation, and just when he probably thought it couldn't get any worse, boom! Another bombshell drops. Word is out that Karrueche is pregnant, and not just with one baby, but with twins. That's right. The tea is that she and Deion Sanders are officially starting a family of their own, and fans can't stop talking about it. According to insiders, the decision came after Deion's frightening cancer scare, which completely changed their outlook on life. You remember that emotional video Deion posted when he opened up about his battle, right? Karrueche was right there in the frame, not just as some quiet support in the background, but as someone carrying the weight of it all with him. The clip showed just how raw and real the moment was. You could literally see the pain on her face as she broke down, explaining how terrifying the entire journey had been for them. While Deion tried to keep a calm, composed face, Karrueche's emotions made it clear this wasn't just his fight. When she spoke about going into surgery, she didn't say he's going in. She said, we're going in. That one word changed everything, showing the world that they were in this battle together, as a team. Now, with the news of twins on the way, fans are convinced this is their fresh start. A powerful new chapter after all the struggles they've endured side by side. Karrueche wasn't just there for the big moments. She was locked in every step of the way. She showed up at the doctor's appointments, checked in with Deion's trainer, and slipped right into every single supportive partner role possible. And let's be real, that's a lot to carry in a relationship, especially one that hadn't even gone public yet. Most couples take their time, maybe drop a soft launch on social media before things get serious. But for Karrueche and Deion, there was no easing in. It went straight from private romance to hospitals and surgery rooms. It might not be the picture-perfect love story you see in the movies, but one thing is clear. All of that struggle pulled them even closer together.
We are at the hospital because we are dealing with
Don't kill the messenger. Everyone seen Karrueche by your side during your hospital visit. Everyone wants to know what that friendship is.
We got a bad connection. I got a bad. I can't.
You gotta go.
Yeah,
She's dating?
yeah, she
Is she having fun?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, look at that
If I
smile.
wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be in it. I'm at a point in my life
And clearly, it really brought them close, because now the word is that homegirl is not only married, but allegedly pregnant with twins. That revelation shook fans. But what's really stirring the pot are the different opinions people have about this whole situation. See, Deion Sanders has a history that's nothing short of complicated when it comes to relationships. First, he divorced Carolyn Chambers after having 3 kids with her. Then he married Pilar Biggers Sanders and had 2 more children. But that marriage exploded in a nasty split. Afterward, he dragged Pilar through brutal custody battles, painting her in court as unstable and unfit. It was messy, public, and brutal. Then came Miss Tracy Edmonds. They were together for 7 years before he finally popped the question, only to call off the engagement in 2023 after more than a decade of being together. So, when news broke that Karrueche was the new woman in his life, a lot of people instantly thought she was setting herself up for heartbreak. The track record speaks for itself. People didn't exactly have high hopes, but despite all the doubts, if Karrueche's smiling, glowing, and truly happy, plenty of fans are saying, let her live out her fairy tale. Because at the end of the day, whether it's messy or magical, it's her story to tell, and clearly, she's already writing it in bold letters. Except for Chris Brown, because ever since the news about Karrueche and Deion dropped, he's been spiraling out of control. And it's only getting messier by the day, because word in the streets is that Chris has been trying to sneak his way back into Karrueche's life for a minute now. He really believed he still had a chance, like she was just waiting around for him. But reality slapped him hard, because it's crystal clear she's not checking for him anymore. Chris is still stuck on her, and honestly, it's wild he's even surprised by this, especially after everything he put her through. Let's rewind for a second. Karrueche and Chris first got together in 2011, when she was working in fashion and hustling to grow her modeling career. The two clicked instantly, and by March of that year, they were officially public. But the fairy tale didn't last long, because within a year, the cracks were already showing. By early 2012, Chris was tangled back up with his ex Rihanna, and suddenly Karrueche was stuck in the middle of a love triangle that had social media on fire. Rihanna's diehard fans came for her non-stop, dragging her for being in the picture at all, and the backlash was brutal. Eventually, Chris broke things off with Karrueche, but the way he did it had everybody giving him the side eye. He released a statement claiming, "I love Karrueche very much, but I don't want to see her hurt over my friendship with Rihanna. I'd rather be single, allowing us both to be happy in our own lives." On the surface, it sounded respectful. But instead of quietly moving on, Chris stirred the pot even more by dropping a whole promo-style video, confessing that he was in love with both Rihanna and Karrueche at the same time. That stunt didn't just break hearts, it blew up into a full-blown scandal. People were calling him out left and right for playing games with two women publicly, like it was entertainment. And while Rihanna eventually moved on, Karrueche got caught in the mess, leaving her with scars that fans still bring up to this day. Now fast forward to 2025, and Chris is still acting like he deserves another chance? The audacity has fans shaking their heads. Talk about deja vu, because by May 2013, Chris and Rihanna had already burned out, and just like clockwork, Chris went running right back to Karrueche. And here's the wild part. She actually took him back without hesitation. Within weeks, the two were living together again like nothing had ever gone down. But you already know how this story goes. History repeated itself in the messiest way possible. Not long after their reunion, Chris landed himself in rehab, and that's when the whispers started. Rumors were flying that he had hooked up with one of the staff members there. Things spiraled even further when he wound up back in prison, and Karrueche was left cleaning up the pieces of a relationship that was falling apart at the seams. To make it worse, reports started surfacing that Karrueche had finally pulled the plug after catching Chris texting multiple women behind her back. For months, their relationship ran like a broken record. Karrueche would catch him sneaking around with other women, they'd blow up in massive fights, and Chris would jump on social media to throw shade at her in front of the entire world. And somehow, some way, they'd always circle back to each other like nothing happened. But the true breaking point came when Karrueche discovered that Chris had crossed the line in the most unforgivable way.
Somebody, then you tend to fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult. Is it such thing as loving two people? I don't know.
He hadn't just cheated. He had a full-on baby with model Nia Guzman. And the worst part? Karrueche didn't even hear it from him. She found out online at the same time as everyone else. When the story broke, that was the final straw. She snapped and fired off a tweet that instantly went viral. Listen, one can only take so much. The best of luck, Chris and his family. No baby drama for me. Looks like I'm a single lady again. With that one tweet, she made it crystal clear. She was done, and there was no coming back from this betrayal. The internet ate it up, and fans rallied behind her, calling it the clapback of the year. After the chaos, Karrueche finally started to move on. She poured all her energy into her career, stacking wins and slowly rebuilding her life. She even stepped back into the dating world, linking up with other people and showing everyone she wasn't going to let the past hold her hostage. But here's the kicker. Chris couldn't handle it. Every time he caught wind of her being spotted with a new man, he'd spiral into instant jealousy like he still had some claim over her. By 2015, Chris tried to clean up his image with a sit-down interview with Ryan Seacrest, where he claimed he was finally ready to own up to his mistakes and take accountability for all the chaos he caused. But while Chris was talking redemption, Karrueche was keeping it all the way real in her own interviews. She opened up about her past with him, made it clear she wasn't sugarcoating anything, and let the world know she was done being silent. And the truth? Chris did not like that one bit. Chris just couldn't keep his cool. He jumped online and started venting about Karrueche constantly bringing him up, writing, "Honestly, it's so pointless to keep doing interviews about me. Talk about your career. If there is no more relationship, then you shouldn't be doing interviews with people. I won't let you get the pleasure of prying into my personal life. It's starting to get real weak. You know these ain't loyal." But Karrueche? Oh, she wasn't about to let him rewrite history or play in her face again. She clapped back with a read so sharp it had the internet gagging. She fired off. They asked a question, and as a mature adult, I answered. I'm not going to shy away from something that I lived through. I'm talking about my life and experiences. I'm not speaking on you or bashing you like I easily could. Don't be mad at me because our relationship is over due to your lack of loyalty. You know what's weak? You forcing yourself into my car, breaking my window, blowing up my phone, trying to shower me with gifts. Man up and change that BS in your life like I've told you several times. She gave it to him raw, and fans were living for it. The read was so brutal, people were reposting it everywhere like it was a clapback masterclass. And the gag? Chris immediately folded after getting dragged like that. He backpedaled hard, admitting he was still in love with her. He wrote, "I'm eternally thankful for you being a part of my life. I've learned so much from you. I wish you nothing but happiness and the best. Karrueche, all I was doing was trying to fight for the woman I love. Thanks. I learned a lot." It sounded like a surrender, but don't get it twisted. The drama was far from over. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Chris Brown and Karrueche Tran, it's that their story never ends quietly. There's always another messy chapter waiting to unfold. Things turned downright chilling after their breakup. Because Chris allegedly began stalking Karrueche, monitoring her every move, and even threatening her and her family. By 2017, she had finally reached her breaking point and went to court to request a restraining order. And when she testified, the details had everyone's jaws on the floor. According to Karrueche, things escalated when Chris demanded she return the expensive diamond rings he'd gifted her during their relationship. When she refused, he allegedly unleashed a flood of threatening texts. It was a whole new level of toxic, leaving the public asking how their drama had spiraled this far out of control. But the shock didn't end there. In courtroom documents, Karrueche accused Chris of taking things to an even darker place. She said he had threatened to harm her, harass her friends, and even shoot her. She revealed that around the second week of February, he told people, "If no one else can have her, I'm going to take her out." The statement sent chills through fans who realized the situation was way more dangerous than anyone thought. And she didn't stop there. Karrueche also testified that Chris had been physically violent while they were still together. She alleged he punched her in the stomach twice and even pushed her down the stairs. Although she admitted she didn't file a police report at the time, the claims painted a horrifying picture of what she said she endured behind closed doors. The timing made it even worse, because according to her, all of this was happening while Chris was still on probation for the brutal 2009 assault on Rihanna. Back then, he had pled guilty to making criminal threats and felony assault, accepting a plea deal that forced him into community labor to avoid jail. By 2015, he had finally completed over 1,000 hours of community service for that case. You'd think that going through all that would have forced him to finally change his ways, to stay in his lane and keep his hands to himself. But instead, while paying his dues for one woman, he allegedly repeated the same toxic behavior with another. And that's exactly why fans drag him every single time his name pops up in headlines. Because those patterns just don't seem to die no matter how much he claims he's grown. It was like Chris just couldn't function without Karrueche. The second her 5-year restraining order expired, he went right back to obsessing over her online. He was tracking blogs that posted her pictures, liking and commenting on everything. Last year, when Karrueche dropped a few cute pics, Chris made sure everyone saw that he liked them. Fans instantly clocked that he still wasn't over her. But the proof came during his little feud with Quavo around the release of his 11:11 album. On the track, Freak, Chris threw shade at Quavo for dating Karrueche, rapping, "Okay, no fucking on my oldies, ain't gonna make a sequel. Sipping that 1942, cause I don't do no quo." Basically, he was pressed about Quavo being with his ex. Quavo wasn't having it. He clapped back on his track Tinder, claiming Chris fumbled Karrueche, dragging his past to putting hands on women and even calling him a cokehead. He rapped lines like, "Don't beat her up, must be the drug. Tell me, lil bro, what's your issue? It's over. I thought you said it's bigger than..." Nah, it's not. And if that wasn't enough, Chris made things worse by dropping a whole song called Residual, literally dedicated to Karrueche, where he admitted, "Wasted on my mind, she's still on my mind." So while Quavo was moving forward, Chris was still stuck on the past, exposing just how deep his obsession really ran. Chris still wants Karrueche back. Allegedly, he even reached out trying to work things out, and get this, he offered to raise her twins if she gave him another chance. Y'all, that's not love, that's desperation. Both of his exes, Rihanna and Karrueche, have moved on with their lives, and Chris just isn't handling it well. From obsessively stalking online, to throwing subliminals in songs, to allegedly offering to play stepdad out of nowhere, it's giving full-blown unraveling. The real question is, will Karrueche even consider his apology? Or is she shutting that door for good this time? One thing's for sure, the feud is far from over. And if Chris keeps spiraling like this, it could get uglier than anybody imagined. The stage is set, the players are in position, and the next chapter is guaranteed to be explosive. So buckle up, because this story isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Karrueche should give Chris another chance? Or is it game over for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next twist in this wild saga.